Give it time to ring a bit. Make sure my button. Okay, I'm joined with one half of Pretty Proper. Lady Frost is with me right now. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you so much for taking this time and joining me for this interview. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem.
So, how did you get started as a wrestler? How did it all start off for you?
Wrestling actually runs in the family. I am third generation, but I didn't pursue wrestling until later in life, and it actually came about the other half of Pretty Proper. I started out as a manager of ballet.
So, what was that like in your early days as a just being the manager, just being a presence out there, being a helping hand to the Savage Gentleman? What was it like being the valet?
It was different. I feel like it gave me a lot of insight into the emotional aspect of things because you really get to tune into the crowd and their energy and what they're feeling and those certain moments when something happens, that element of surprise or excitement. And, you pay attention to the breakdown of what happens in a match and you feel that emotion for someone else, and then it becomes, a natural feeling that just kind of like resonates to me. And then it was kind of a natural transition to want that to be on my own. I was a competitive gymnast, so I think I had that background already, and because it ran in the family, that it made sense for me to get in there myself.
One thing is certain, as a manager, crowd's gonna say all types of things. They're gonna try to get under your skin, things like that. Has there ever been a time when a fan said something that even it went too far? Like they went like over the top or say something that was just flat out disrespectful instead of the typical bulls?
Um, I think that depends on how thick your skin is. I know that there have been times where I felt like it was too much, but, it's all in. I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say. I don't think that I've taken anything personal enough to feel like someone crossed the line. You just kind of have to brush it off and, you know, keep on going.
That is very true. Wrestling, as people like to say, it's not ballet, and
Yeah, that's right.
you gotta have a thick skin because people are gonna try to. Fans are gonna have an agenda. They always gonna try to say something, and either you can let it affect you or just shake it off and say something clever back, and just at the end of the time, at the end of the day, y'all performers. Y'all out to perform, entertain, and put on a show. And if the crowd is that emotionally invested in you, if they are that willing to want to say something to you for whatever reason, then you're doing your job pretty much.
Yep, that's how I see it. I mean, if the fans are involved, then they're obviously being entertained. Sometimes they want to entertain themselves, but it's always it's good no matter what they have to say, negative or positive, because they're engaging, and that's the point.
Pretty much. So this team, you and the Savage Gentleman, very clever name on his part. Savage Gentleman, Lady Frost. Um, how did y'all two join forces? How did that came about?
It was real life at first, and I was always organizing everything and keeping track of the scheduling, and it was pretty much just a natural fit with our characters. We're kind of traditional and old school in our beliefs, and I think that's why it translates, the gentleman and the lady. But when it comes time to fight for something that you believe in, or if, we're in a match, then the savage side comes out.
Pretty much. And Now, prior to me being familiar with Pretty Proper, especially you, I was watching Monday Night Raw, just like everybody else does on a Monday night, and I see this woman having an interview. I think it was Charlie Caruso was doing an interview, and I think it was. It could have been, yeah, it had to be
Yep.
Charlie Caruso. She interviewed this woman, called herself Jamie Frost. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Lady Frost right there. You on national television. You're going up against then undefeated Oscar, and that was. I bet your cell phone was flooded that night. Talk about that experience, just being on national television and the reaction that you got afterwards.
Um, it's it's still almost like it's surreal. There's nothing that you can ever do to prepare for a scenario like that, no matter how much experience you have. I mean, some people are fortunate enough to get contracts with WWE with different companies, but as far as that level, there's nothing really that you can do to prepare yourself for an opportunity like that, especially live. And I had some great feedback. It was wonderful, not just family and friends, but strangers. And I think that's really, what motivated me to really push forward and keep going, because fans can be cruel. They're brutally honest. They're harsh. And seeing some of the positive feedback, it really made me understand that I was doing the right thing and pursuing my dreams in this particular avenue. So it was nice to hear some good comments, but there's always a few. I had some humorous retweets on outfit and hair, and everyone always has something to say, but for the most part it was generally really positive. So I got some really good feedback.
Yeah, social media could be so cruel. But I guess it's easy for the trolls to say when they're not in the ring going up against one of the top best women wrestlers in the world. Uh,
Oh, exactly.
anyone that's willing to go be in the ring with her, you get mad kudos for me. So, and
Thank you.
I've been a fan of hers since she was Kana in Shimmer Wrestling, and she is she is just exactly she is. She's Oscar. Nobody's waiting for her.
That's
Undefeated for 2.5+ years. Undefeated at NXT. I mean, this woman has accomplished more in a few years than most people have in a lifetime. So, uh,
Oh, absolutely. And it was an honor. I mean, she was truly the best at the time, I believe. And she's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest. And it was just, like I said, it was a privilege.
so for you, what I like about Lady Frost is, her character, her look, and the elegance in your voice. I checked out a couple of your promos, and you have the elegance approach, but you ain't backing down for nobody. So how did you end up with the name Lady Frost?
Well, actually, it was the WWE that had given me the Jamie Frost moniker. And because I was already invested in a gimmick with sort of the gentleman and the lady, I opted to use lady and then use the last name Frost, so I could combine the two and be more of the character that I'm used to, what comes natural, and then add the icy element to it.
So, from a fan's perspective, you watch wrestling, obviously. Who are some of your favorite wrestlers, whether it's men or women? Who are some of your favorite wrestlers right now? It could be indie. It could be
Right
pro.
now,
Yeah.
I, I always think for females, you have to give it to Charlotte, that she's just been undeniable and one of the greatest ever. But I do tend to watch a little bit more of the lucha style. I remember seeing people like Will Ospreay and Jay White and Flip Gordon and, some of these guys on the indies that just really bring a unique athletic gymnastic approach to traditional wrestling. I love the basics and the fundamentals of what's happening again, but I also love the aerial aspect. Obviously, that suits my style more, I believe. I can still, do backflips and all that kind of stuff, but I try to take a little bit from everyone. I think that makes the best match. It can't just be all spots or all ground games. So, I try to do a little high flying and a little groundwork and mix it up and just take influence from everyone.
I too myself love the Lucha Libre style, just the culture feel about it, and people wearing masks, and the meaning behind it. They wear that with honor, and fans are just so into it. I love guys like Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, La Parka, Ultimo Dragon. Those guys back in the WCW days made me a fan of their style, and Lucha Underground, what they doing, bringing that appeal to it, bringing that flavor to it is so incredible to watch.
Absolutely.
The athleticism in today's wrestling is at an all-time high. People using their imaginations more than ever before. So that's so incredible to see. For you, Lady Frost, you are in for a busy July, in for a busy summer season. So with that being said, go ahead and promote your upcoming shows and appearances that people need to check out.
Let's see if I can remember them all. I mean, we are still available for bookings, but I know July 7th we're at our home base, Rise. That is in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. We'll be out at New Ohio Wrestling. The following week we'll be at Nova Pro, which is in Virginia. We're often at Monster Factory in New Jersey. Where else will we be? I have to pull up my calendar. You think I would be better at this? Those are the next few weeks, at least for us here in July.
And where can people go as far as social media links to keeping track of what's going on with you?
It is Lady Frost on Facebook and Real Lady Frost on Twitter and Instagram.
So it's very awesome to be joined with one half of Pretty Proper with Lady Frost. It was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Shout out to the Savage Gentleman, and continued success. And I do extend an invitation to Mr. Savage Gentleman if he wants to be on this show in the future. But thank you so much for being on the show.
That sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time and asking me to be a part of the show.
Absolutely. Continued success. You have a good night. Have a good weekend.